Shiny object syndrome, what is it and how can we go about overcoming that? So, in the AI space, for AI SaaS or AI app or AI agency founders, currently there is the term shiny object syndrome that a lot of people describe themselves as suffering from. And I would like to shed some light onto that, what that really means, because oftentimes we throw around words like low self-esteem or I have a trauma, I have a wound, I have a mother issue, I have a father issue, I have shiny object syndrome, I'm a procrastinator. These types of labels that we give to ourselves because it feels like it gives us some sense of certainty because then we know at least what we're dealing with, or at least that's the feeling of it, right? But we want to be very, very, very careful which words we place after the statement of I am. If you say, I have shiny object syndrome or I am suffering from shiny object syndrome, you want to be very, very careful with what you do with that. Okay, so this is my positioning now, where I help people do that and overcome that. And so the way that came about is I started coaching people for all kinds of different things. I used to do pornography recovery coaching, which came from the very first thing that we started was semen retention, because my friend and I, we believe in that very much. We know that that is basically the practice of utilizing your resources wisely, right? The resources that you have. Instead of letting the energy seep out in bad habits, you remain with them and let it be transmuted into all kinds of ideas. And there's nothing weird about it. It's just a very physical practice of stopping bad habits in the same way as making your room dark when you sleep. It's one of those things that's like, if you're not doing that, energy gets lost in that way. If you're not sleeping with earplugs or with an eye mask, as an example, that can be optimized in the same way. Semen retention, when you let your energy go out and that. And so we started with that. We quickly realized that people were not really looking for that, but the real reason behind why people were not able to reap the benefits of semen retention was because of pornography consumption. So we did that for a while. And then I realized that I do not want to make myself known and build a huge brand, a multi-year, I wanted to find what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And so I needed to do my own thing, but I was never really clear about what it actually was that I wanted to make seminars about and coachings about. And I always thought it's living the life of your dreams. That was my message. And part of me was, that's very with your head in the clouds, it's not very tangible. And I struggled with that. Whenever I was going through programs in order to make this tangible, they were having us do exercises of defining your target audience, your ideal client persona, who you want to serve, who you want to talk to, right? What is the coaching for? What kind of problem for whom are you solving? I was always struggling for that because I was like, man, I just want to give seminars and I know I can help people. And of that, I was convinced because I was told that so often. It's like, man, you got some value there. Whenever I talk to you, I feel good about that. You really gave me some great advice here and there. Thank you very much. That helped me. I got these feedback throughout the years when I was working with people. But I could never really specify that of what is the one dream outcome. And I was always, envy is a strong word, but I was desiring to have clear positioning. Like, I help menopausal women lose the first 20 pounds. I help skinny fat guys gain the first 15 pounds of muscle mass. I help people recover from a long distance relationship breakup. But these very specific type of, I help artists build a YouTube channel, right? These very specific types of positioning statements. And I never had that. And I was trying so long and I wouldn't really come out. And now I know what I'm going to do. Part of me didn't want to commit. Part of me was, am I going to exclude? Am I going to limit myself from the grand vision that I have of helping the world and helping people to live the life of their dreams? Because I know I can do that. I know if somebody comes to me and he or she talks to me with honesty about their problems, I can figure out what needs to be done and why it hasn't happened yet. Why they were not able to live the life of their dreams. Because it is fairly simple. You get up in the morning, And then you have a certain amount of hours until you get hungry, and then you eat, and then you rest a bit, and then you go back to work, and then you defecate, and then you go back to work, and then you do something for leisure, and then you spend time with your family. It's like it's not that wild, right? But we want to find out, what is it that we want to do each day? How does the life of our dreams look like? And part of that is going to be the disillusionment of basically taking away the confusion and the illusion of like life needs to be this grand fireworks of emotions every single day, which is not that. We want to really define what are the actions that we enjoy doing. And that's then the life of our dreams, plus together with the people that we want to spend time with. That's pretty much it. Who you have around you, what kind of family, what kind of partner, what kind of friends, and what you're going to do with them. How you take care of your body, what you ingest, because you're probably going to eat 2 or 3 times a day. Where you live, your environment, and then what do you do each day? This is basically it. And so I can then see if people are not living that, what are the reasons for that, right? Where is the time and the energy going that is not conducive and feels like fulfilling towards the life of their dreams? And there are many reasons, because life is not that simple. When people have a car and a health insurance and these systems and a telephone and internet provider and their laptop and their phone and their kids' phones and then school, home, life can get very complicated very quickly. I'm aware of that. But that's exactly why my work of clarification, consolidation, and cleaning up one's life comes in order to really carve out what are the essentials, what are the non-essentials, what is the time that's being spent just on maintenance, and what's the time that's being spent on actual growth and building the life of your dreams. Okay, so that's a bit of the backstory here. Now, for the shiny object syndrome, I realized that the more I was getting into the AI space and the software space for my own applications, because I saw that and I knew that I could leverage that because I understand intelligence. I believe I know about myself that I have strengths and weaknesses. Certainly intelligence is one of my strengths. And I understand artificial intelligence well, not on a PhD level of the theoretics of it, but I saw that I can leverage the artificial intelligence together with my human intelligence to do something that's smart and helps people, right? So I saw that from just half a year after ChatGPT was released to the public, I was like every day full on for hours each day and quit everything else to like full on go in, all in on that. And so the more I went into that, I realized that the people who are monetizing that with AI agencies or AI SaaS, and you very likely, as I'm practicing to speak to my audience and not speak just for the sake of speaking to myself, but to the audience, to you, my cherished viewer. As you have probably experienced that it is hard to find the commitment. And here's exactly the point that I'm making. When we are not able to commit to just one thing, we always have to take a look at the fear of commitment. In the same way as when I was young, I wanted to run around and skirt chase and have lots of different women and all kinds of sexual experiences with different women, as a lot of young people do, out of the fear of commitment and out of the chasing of validation. And so in the same way as why would we be afraid of just being with one person for the rest of our lives? What would fall away and what would that give us that we don't think we're otherwise going to get? In the same way, when we commit to just one project, what is it that we believe we have to give up for, and what kind of fear is that evoking? I was having a chat with a client today and he told me, it's like, I get very anxious about progressing with a side project. And first of all, product market fit 10 out of 10. We've validated that, people are already paying him for that. It's tremendous. And so I asked him, could that be that if you were succeeding with that, you would lose the security of your job? Because you want to leave your job, obviously, but if you've been working in the job for quite a while, you know exactly what that is like when you know that you're comfortable and safe within the job that you have, and then starting something new feels like a free flow, like a free fall, where you're like, okay, I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, I kind of do, but the fear is still there. And so then oftentimes we have to take a look at that. When we talk about self-sabotage, it's oftentimes either what would happen if I did succeed, but oftentimes it's also if I did succeed and if I would show myself completely and utterly and fully, what if I'm then still not going to be enough, even with giving everything that I've got completely and fully? And so with shiny object syndrome, what's the fear of commitment? Of like, if I really commit to one business, one problem, and one avatar, then you're like, if I fail at that and do everything right, what would that then say about me? And so that's the question for today's video that I would like to leave you with. What would it say about you if you still were not enough, although you were doing everything right? And the answer that I would hope you come to yourself to is, nothing would help if you still couldn't do it. But then you would be a much bigger step further forward towards actually figuring this out, because as you spread your attention and your awareness across multiple projects, you realize there's more to a business than just the idea. In order to build a proper business, you want to do some kind of long-term brand building. That doesn't have to mean social media, although most of the times it really does involve that. Then you're going to deal with the setup of the taxes for that, and your partnerships, and maintaining the relations, and all things, right? Because it's also not usually the first iteration of the logo, of the website, of the software. And if you have to go to like the 6th iteration of the website, of the logo, of the communication channel, of the advertising hooks, of all of these little systems through 3 projects, it's not going to be successful, because you don't get to the repetitions and to the depth of doing it a lot of times, because you don't just make the content, you don't just build the product, you're going to iterate upon that, right? And so the fear is also, what if I then get bored by that and have lack of variety? But you will actually not be bored once the success is rolling. You will have so much variety just within this one project. So yeah, please let me know if that was helpful, and if so, what you took away from that, and what you would like me to cover, what kind of psychological dynamics about shiny objects. And now in the next upcoming videos, we're going to go so much deeper into the psychological underpinnings of that, and what you can do in order to overcome that. Because oftentimes, and that's where I see my value in that, just by me being able to articulate that, you're going to be able to become aware of that. Because here's the dynamic of how that works. When you run this pattern and kind of is running you, like the client that was consulting with me today, he was like, hey, I'm getting the jitters, I feel like I can't really complete that, I get so anxious about it. It's in him, it's running him. And when you then learn to identify it by, for example, listening to me explaining that, you identify it, it breaks the identification with it. So it's not experienced anymore as you having this pattern, as you running this pattern, but it is experienced as something that you can perceive and observe within you. And you can become aware of that, which breaks the identification and also breaks the emotional load of that. So I hope that was helpful. 13 minutes. I'm learning to make these videos more brief. And if you want to watch another video, we have none of the videos either here nor here on the screen, because I'm not there yet on the YouTube, but I hope that you enjoyed the video regardless, and see you next time.